Starting in 1946, country living was taught by the church. Also, we saw this continue right up to 1950. So, what happened? Did we change our views on country living? Well, as we've said, there is a document that will make everything clear. Let's continue with the SDA Encyclopedia article on rural living. It reads, "It appears that as people became accustomed to the dangers of the atomic age and difficulties were experienced by those who moved to the country, a reaction set in." So people became accustomed to the dangers of the atomic age. The only nuclear bombs that were used against humans were in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. As the years progressed, with no added nuclear assaults and nations seeking peace and unity, people returned to a state of relaxation. With no clear present danger, there was no urgency. It also says difficulties were met when people moved to the country. As a result, a reaction set in. What was this reaction? As we read on, we will see. Continuing the article, it says, at a meeting at Grand Ledge, Michigan, September 3rd through 5th, 1951, the entire structure of the self-supporting work and rural living program was brought under careful scrutiny. Among other things, it was decided at this meeting that the Association of Seventh-day Adventist Self-Supporting Institutions foster the work hitherto carried on by the General Conference Commission of Self-Supporting Missionary Enterprises, which included the rural living objectives. In 1951, the organization that we now know as ASI was given the work of promoting country living. Continuing, although from this time on the spirit of country living began to wane, the General Conference sought to bolster the program by appropriate committee action and by calling for promotion of the plan on the union and local conference levels. So we see the reaction, the spirit, the interest in country living is decreasing. Note, this decrease is not due to a change in our belief in country living. It's a lack of interest due to no longer fearing a nuclear attack and also due to a fear of hardships to be faced in country living. However, the General Conference still desired to encourage the membership to follow God's instruction. The first agricultural and rural living workshop was held at Emmanuel Missionary College, Berrien Springs, Michigan, December 29th through 31st, 1954. Expert counsel regarding small farming and allied industries was offered, and other workshops were to have been held in strategic places throughout North America in close proximity to metropolitan areas. However, the general response to the program was negative. The General Conference was pushing for people to accept the message and to be educated, but the encyclopedia points out that the response of the membership was negative. The people had lost interest. In 1957, an unpublished survey of the North American Division regarding the status of rural living revealed a definite lack of interest in the field, with certain exceptions. As a result, in rewriting the Constitution and bylaws of the Association of Self-Supporting Institutions, mention of rural living was omitted. Since this time, all inquiries regarding rural living have been referred to local and union conferences. We see that the NAD found there was a definite lack of interest in country living. In other words, the membership didn't care. As a result, ASI removed rural living from their constitution and bylaws. This meant that rural living was no longer connected to a department of the General Conference, and anyone who wanted to find out about country living would have to seek information from their local conference and union. This explains why many of us have never heard of country living. The membership, for the most part, rejected the message. The SDA Encyclopedia article on rural living ends by saying, Seventh-day Adventists believe that at a time yet future, when Sunday laws become oppressive and boycotts of dissenters will forbid anyone to buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast, leaving the large metropolitan areas will become imperative for those who wish to keep the seventh-day Sabbath. In this connection, Ellen White says, it is no time now for God's people to be fixing their affections on laying up their treasure in the world. The time is not far distant when, like the early disciples, we shall be forced to seek a refuge in desolate and solitary places. As the siege of Jerusalem by the Roman armies was the signal for flight to the Judean Christians, so the assumption of power on the part of our nation, the U.S., in the decree enforcing the papal Sabbath will be a warning to us. It will then be time to leave the large cities, preparatory to leaving the smaller ones for retired homes in secluded places among the mountains. This is the view of the majority of Seventh-day Adventists today. In the future, when they try to enforce a national Sunday law, we will leave the cities. Then, but not now. So now you know what happened. The General Conference noted a lack of support for country living and then handed the work to ASI. Disinterest continued and ASI removed country living from their bylaws. Teaching country living became the sole responsibility of the local church conferences, which once again explains why you may have never heard this teaching.
To be aware of new videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to the Preparing for the Time of Trouble channel. For more free videos and downloadable audio podcasts, as well as handouts, go to www.preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com. Topic categories include recordings of live seminar presentations, country living, sustainable gardening, homestead remedies, how to be self-sufficient when the grid goes down, wild edible and medicinal plants, hydrotherapy, and end-time Bible prophecies. To take advantage of these free resources, go to preparingforthetimeoftrouble.com.